Yeah, welcome to another edition of DXB today. Thanks very much indeed for your company this evening. We do hope you've had a lovely day. Well, hopefully it's going to be an even better evening in our company. As regular viewers of the show will know, what we like to do is theme each of our episodes. An important theme for us today as we dive into Emiratisation. Comes in a number of different guises, from the targets that a number of companies have been set to great initiatives around the city. Let's see what's coming up on the show tonight.
Nimi checks out the city's latest literary hub, the Kutubna Culture Centre, helping support the achievements and accomplishments of Khaliji authors, poets and scholars.
And talented singer Anisa Bashari is with us in the studio as well. So guys, the Emiratisation.
Yeah, interesting to get your take on the Emiratisation project. You set this one up for us.
Well, I've always worked in the government sector, but now the private sector is more open for us to kind of get into it. And with these programs being installed, I think that there's going to be more employment rates for Emiratis here in the UAE.
Yeah, the numbers are certainly super high, aren't they? But like, as an Emirati woman yourself, how does it make you feel to know that there are so many programs that are making this become a thing?
Well, looking at it, especially now that my sisters are in university and graduating soon, it offers many portals for them to kind of venture into, and opportunities that they didn't have before, because before we were limited in the companies we could have joined and grown in, but now it's opened up doors that we never even thought about.
So that's one of the things I want to get from our experts on the show here this evening. We've got a load of guests who are going to be joining us, giving us their thoughts. Because I think a lot of companies, and you're so right, traditionally it was government jobs, it was public sector as well, and there was that understanding. With the boom in SMEs, with the boom in enterprise here, with the boom in the private business sector as well, there are so many great opportunities out there. The one thing I want to sort of move away from is the word quota, because I think that's one of the things that's dragging it back, and hopefully the experts will be addressing that for us. I think this is a great opportunity. This is a great opportunity for businesses to see their business, to see this part of the world from different perspectives, and that can only be good for each individual enterprise. Anyway, that's my theory anyway. Going to hang my coat on that one, if that's all right.
No, yeah, exactly. But of course, it's not just us here giving our expertise on the sofa. We, of course, have a guest co-host with us tonight. Let's see who it is.
Hi, I'm Talib Hashim, Managing Director of TBH Advisory, and I am super excited to be part of the show today. See you.
Exciting. Talib is going to be right here on the sofa next to me very, very shortly. But first of all, Nimi went down to the latest destination for literary and cultural enrichment in this city. This is the Kutubna Culture Centre.
Today I'm at Kutubna Culture Centre, which is an independent bookstore and a community space. I'm going to be here to find out more about their art, their community, and of course, the incredible books. We are so excited to be here, and I want to hear more about the centre. So first, let's start with why it all started. What was the idea behind it?
So I quit my job as a professor and decided to do something new here. And it had to be something that I really loved, which meant doing something with books.
Yeah.
So initially I thought I'll open a small bookstore. And then the small bookstore became a cultural center, and it's now more of a community center.
Oh, I love that. And one thing that you do so beautifully is celebrate Khaliji women. But you also celebrate regional culture. So tell me more about that and how you approach that.
So when I came here, I decided opening this bookshop and this cultural center has to be my second PhD. I have to educate myself about what people are producing here, the books that are being written, all of the different amazing things that are being produced in our region. So when I started talking to people about doing this, I discovered that there's a whole universe of amazing creativity is there for all of us to discover.
Right. So, I mean, what kind of books can you recommend?
There are so many. So we have a whole bookshelf here at the center that's focused on authors who are in the UAE and from the region, from the Gulf specifically. So Main Naqib's An Unlasting Home is a novel that I started and I thought it will take me months to finish it. You know, with a small child, it's hard to read.
But one thing that you do here at the centre is you really support other mothers as well. Tell me more about that and what it is that you do.
We have a program here called Mother's Work, and it's a program that supports women who have taken time to focus on caring for their small children who now want to enter the workforce outside the home. So the program helps with writing CVs, cover letters, working on LinkedIn profiles and applying for jobs. And we've had 2 rounds of this program and we're really excited for the 3rd round coming up.
Dr. Shatha, I want to thank you so much for having us here today and for sharing your time.
Thank you.
See you. So there you have it, a stunning cultural centre which is all focused on collegiate women, artists and creatives in the space, not just for Dubai, but the Gulf region too.
Nimi, thanks so much indeed for that. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that. And a great indication of the fact that Emiratisation and promotion of Emiratisation comes in so many different forms, be it cultural or, of course, corporate. Let's move on to our next guest, dedicated to guiding businesses towards sustainable growth and success in the region. Somebody who's helping local talent connect and seize great opportunities across various markets. Please welcome to DXB today, Talib Hashim. I couldn't ask for a better guest on this subject. Talib, always good to see you. Thanks so much indeed for joining us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Shall we, look, there will be a number of viewers out there going, okay, I understand the Emiratisation word, I use it a lot, but do I fully understand the programme as well? How do you, and I'm sure you get asked this at dinner parties and lunch dates and things like that time and again, how do you explain the concept behind the Emiratisation project?
Best way, the Emiratisation project started long ago. It's not a project, it's an endeavor. That's the best way to describe it. It's something that started 30, 40 years ago, driven and inspired initially by the government, but later on you have private sector, government sector, semi-government sector, also driving nationalization. So it's another form of nationalization, not to scare multinational companies away, but it's really the type of nationalization that's meant to localize workforce. So increase the representation of the indigenous people of the UAE nationals, in the private sector.
And just picking up on one word you said there, because I think it's key just to sort of set this one up before we jump into the conversation in more details. This fear factor element as well, this fact that people, you know, I said at the beginning, and I don't want to use the word quota. I think the word quota is a bad word to use here. Yeah. It's targets. It's increasing your workforce, making it more diverse, diversification of your workforce. Do we need to see this endeavour, as you rightly say, as a positive? Not just for the country, but for business owners as well.
It is, and that's the argument we always make, that Emiratisation should be seen not as an exercise in employing people in private sector organization, but it should be an exercise in where you're looking at upskilling, employing people who can add value to the organization in order for these organizations to add value to society and the economy. So imagine, Tom, a company that is a multinational, that has the diversity, but also has representations of local talent who can bring in insights, culture, network, relationships, and belonging to society. So I think once you have people like that, it encourages that sort of belonging and inclusivity across the organization.
Win-win.
And I think that, like, now with graduations happening for universities, and we have a new set of Emiratis looking to be employed, but they're always obviously focused on the semi-government and government sectors because their parents and their siblings were in it. So how do we encourage more Emiratis to get into the private sector and showcase how they would benefit in both their careers and their skills enhancement?
Good question. I'm a product of parents who worked in civil service, in government. But I've never served a day in government sector. I've always worked in the private sector throughout my life. I do work with private government sector as a consultant. Now, the way to do it is, it has to start from home. Parents should encourage nationals to work in the private sector, to explore a multinational, since we live in a multinational society, it's the reality, it's a globalized world. Parents should do the first job of encouraging nationals to step into the private sector. Then we need more role models. We need more role models who can bring that sense of certainty and comfort to nationals, that this private sector is not an isolated island where, you know, you have a small representation of national, but it's actually a place you can thrive in.
I love that. I love that you say about the encouragement should come from home. Let's go back to the more corporate side of things and to the actual companies that obviously have got to not hit this quota. But that's the thing is, I think there are a lot of companies that think, right, I need to tick some boxes.
Yeah.
But what are the actual expectations for companies then when it comes to Emiratisation?
You know, it is a dilemma, right? The dilemma is companies want top talent. They say we want nationals who have the skills, who are qualified, who can do great in organizations. But at the same time, what we're seeing is companies, you know, focusing and almost being bogged down by the quota question. And because they're bogged down by quota question, the question becomes about how can I bring Emiratis who are cheaper? I hate to say that word, but who are economically
more
cheaper
affordable,
and more affordable. Yes, thank you for correcting me. More affordable to the business, in a manner that you know, they can come in and access the organization as easy as possible. So I think that is the dilemma, and organizations need to really look at bringing nationals and developing them so that they add value, and that is the truth of the matter.
Yeah, and I think that companies should do that regardless of whoever they're employing, right? They're always going to look to employ someone that adds value to the company. And if they're a national, then that's the best part.
I think that's one of the topics we need to delve into here, because you made a very valid point. You know, a lot of companies are looking for a foothold here in the region at the moment. A lot of companies are looking to set up their regional headquarters here in the region at the moment as well. Let me play the role of bad cop. Not the opinions of Tom Urquhart at all, but the bad cop comes to you, Taleb, and goes, okay, cool, I understand the targets, I understand the vision, but what's the benefit of me as an international, a multinational company employing Emiratis into my workforce? What's your answer to that sort of rather blinkered opinion?
I think organization companies, when they're looking at accessing this market, understand the value of we need a local guide. This concept of having a local guide is, you know, it's global, it's international. Whether I'm a company setting up in Japan, I would look for a local guide, right? So they get it from the get-go. But then they get bogged down by the process systems and quotas. So in terms of benefit, what I would tell them is, one, having a national could potentially be your local guide and local ambassador in, yes, a multicultural community, but we do have a Emirati community that is a very important segment for businesses, whether they're consumers or investors. So imagine having a local guide who can actually guide you through that. The second thing is the question of diversity, inclusivity, and belonging. I see a lot of organizations, multinational organizations, very big on D&I, but the representation of nationals is barely 1% to 2%. So how inclusive is your organization if you don't have the right number of Emiratis? And that fosters belonging. I added belonging because belonging, we talk a lot about nationals, helping nationals to belong into organizations, but we don't talk enough about expats, expat executives and employees who work in a country that is not theirs, you know, and they want to get in touch and connect with the local culture. They want to feel they're part of something different, not from where they, you know, the country they were working in before this. So by having the Emirati element really helps bring that comfort and that belonging aspect of it. And the last bit I would say, it's about sustainability and security, right, of society. That's what employment, creating jobs and addressing unemployment does for a society. And it's good for business confidence and investor confidence.
Don't go anywhere, Abdul Muttalib, because we can't wait to hear more on that. But coming up, we're getting insights into an award-winning Emiratization program helping identify top-tier talent in the UAE with the senior advisor from PwC Middle East. So don't go anywhere.